You strong.
Now, I recently decided to change my tank around. I changed it from a gravel tank to a sand tank. Nothing strange about that. I mean, if you've had fish for any length of time, we go through this where we change tanks around. We change the substrate. We change the tank decor, the landscape in it. We sometimes even change the fish. In this case, I decided I wanted to take my 75-gallon tank from a gravel tank to a sand tank and then slowly turn it into a Planet tank. Now, I'm not going to try anything difficult. We'll stick with things like Nubius and Amazon swords and a couple of other easy to care for plants. But some of the fish that I'm interested in getting into are fish that like plants. So we'll be getting, some rainbow fish. If you saw my old any of my last video, you'll see that there was a gentleman who keeps rainbow fish in barbs. And I gotta say, I really like the tank. I like how lively the fish were. I like how there was so much activity in the tank. And let's face it, rainbows have pretty good colors. Hence the name Rainbow. Hello? Right? So I'm also going to be keeping electric blue Acara in this tank. And so I switched my tank out, and I gotta say, Carib Sea Sunset Gold is a pretty color sand to me, but it is an absolutely annoying sand. The amount of time I spent cleaning this sand for it to not come clean is insane. So I ended up putting it in my 75-gallon tank, which is behind me. And cloudy isn't the word. It took about a week for this tank to clear out. And that was even using I've got two sponge filters on this tank, but I had an old 70 I had a 70-gallon a 70 Fluval 70 sitting around, and decided to throw that on there and jam pack it full of filter floss, which I had to change out numerous times to finally get the tank where I could even, before I even added the fish, so I could see the fish. I don't think I'll be using. I've got more Sunset Gold in the basement, and I don't know if I'm going to be using it because that just doesn't come clean. Oh my gosh. I will be trying another sand substrate I recently saw on YouTube, and once I get some in hand, if I can get some, I'd love to do a review and a comparison on it in the Sunset Gold. But I did move some electric blue Acara into the 75-gallon tank after getting it cleared out. And I must say, now that it's cleared out, I'm digging the sand. Now I've got to rescape and make it look a little bit better, as well as move some plants that I purchased into the tank as well to get started on the Planet tank look. But the electric blue Acara that I put in there decided to go ahead and start breeding almost immediately. This tank has not been clear for a week, and they've already bred. It cleared up, and I threw them in, and within a day, they were babies. So the babies, it's calmed down a little bit. I decided to leave the babies in there, and there was a huge cloud. That cloud has reduced, so I'm sure at night when the lights are off, some of the other fish are picking the babies off. So I may move some of the babies into a 10-gallon tank that I have already set up downstairs that I plan to use for my koi, my koi swordfish. I'll just leave them in the tank they're in, and I'll just move the babies into one of the 10-gallon tanks that I have downstairs for now, and eventually move them into the 20-gallon. Speaking of the 20-gallon, we did pick up some more fish, which I'll be talking about in another video. They're in that tank in quarantine, which is why the babies are going into a 10-gallon tank for now. But I gotta say, I've also got some Geophagus red Tapajos that I'll be putting into this tank. I started off with a group of about 4 or 5, and I'm only down to 3, which is a little saddening. I've had them now for I would say almost 2 months, and they've been doing fine. But I'm a little sad that I did lose 2. The electric blue Acara, I did lose 1 in my 125 before adding all the rest to this tank. But since 2 of them decided to pair up and have babies, I believe they killed 1, because shortly after they had babies and they were going after everybody in the tank, I found one of my medium-sized electric blue Acara belly up and deceased. And these 2 have been pretty aggressive with defending the babes. So I'll be moving them out, and hopefully they don't immediately spawn again. I wanted to leave the babies in there, but seeing all the tank residents jammed into one corner just ain't working for me. And so if mom and dad decide to actually breed again, I'll probably move them into another tank by themselves for a little while, or I'll at least separate them so that we're not getting so much breeding going on back to back to back to back. I tell you, people complain about some fish that breed quite often, like convicts. Electric blue Acara just as bad. Oh my gosh. You know, they're electric blue, but they're almost like that little blue pill. Well, I'm going to make some changes and make a new video that'll address some of the changes that I'm going to be doing here with the barbs. So I can't wait to add the barbs to this tank. I can't wait to add some rainbows to this tank, along with the electric blue Acara that are already in there, as well as the redhead Tapajos that are going in there. I can't wait to get started in this barb tank. I think barbs are underrated fish, and I think there's a lot of color that can be seen in barbs, and I think a planet tank with a lot of different species in it might be more interesting than a cichlid tank. We'll see. We'll see. Well, if you haven't, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and hit the bell. Stay wild. Until next time. Get strong.